What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Bimmer Barn. Today we're going to be working on the 335i Wagon swap. While we're still in the process of getting the engine into the car itself, we're going to do some service, some preventative maintenance, and all these sort of things on the motor because we have a great opportunity and it's a lot easier to show you guys how we're doing these things, as well as it's easier for me to access the bolts while we're servicing the motor. So we're going to try to do as much as possible. Recently I did place an order for a bunch of stuff, about $1,000 worth of materials and gaskets and all these sort of things to service the motors. So you'll see that come in soon, and we'll be doing a lot of DIYs and service on it. And then we're going to move into putting it into the car. And in the meantime, I have been looking at some of the wiring differences, some of the things that we're going to have to do for the swap, and trying to plan that. So it works out pretty well. I think we'll have this project done probably in the next month or so. So if you enjoy this sort of content, please leave a like down below because it helps support our channel, and subscribe to the channel if you're new and you haven't yet. So without further ado, let's get straight to work. So today we're going to start off by doing a walnut blasting without the walnuts procedure on the intake valves of my N54. We need to pull off this intake manifold here. We're going to replace the gaskets, which I have on order currently. And once the intake manifold is off, we'll have access to the intake valves and we'll be able to clean them, because usually these things tend to fill up with gunk and carbon buildup because of the way the motor is direct injected. So we're going to find out exactly how much carbon buildup is on these intake valves. The motor has 200,000 miles, so I hope this motor has been cleaned before, but we're going to find out really quickly here. So here I have all the supplies that we're going to need for today. We have some fuel injector cleaner, some brake cleaner in a can, and then this really nice brush kit. I'll put a link to this stuff in the description below in case you want to grab some for yourself. But I do have a master video showing this cleaning procedure, so I'll put a link to that here if you want a lot more details. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and kind of soak the cylinders with the injector cleaner, and then we're going to use the brush to loosen up all the carbon buildup, and then using some compressed air, we'll spray the fluid out and then clean it with some brake cleaner, spray that fluid out again, and then we'll move on to the next cylinder. Over here, I did want to show you guys some cool parts that I got. This is the vacuum canisters that we were missing from the 335 that we bought. So I've got this from the junkyard, as well as some diverter valves. These are the factory ones. I do like these. They have a more kind of subtle noise to them. I know that they're made out of plastic and sometimes they can leak, but we're gonna hope for the best. And in the future, we can definitely upgrade the twins to something like a Go Fast Bits diverter valve, because it'd be approximately the same cost as like a TL or an HKS blow-off valve, but you'd still have that twin look and kind of cleaner engine bay rather than have something big and obnoxious. So anyways, just want to share that with you guys. Like I said, we're going to be doing this today, taking off the intake manifold, inspecting the vacuum pump, and maybe also taking off the crankshaft pulley, because I want to inspect the front main seal. I'm pretty sure that it's leaking. So we'll figure that out and then we'll go from there. Guys, I can't believe it right now, but I'm making a huge realization. You remember when we had that misfire on cylinder 3, and it was kind of like intermittent, and we thought it was like an injector. We moved injectors around, then it didn't come back for a while. Well, I'm looking at the carbon buildup now. Check this out. So that's cylinder 1. Pretty dirty, not too bad. Good little clump right there. Cylinder 2, again dirty, but looks like it's probably been cleaned before. Now check out cylinder 3. You can't even see the back wall of the valve there, and this one looks really bad as well. Basically, I don't think any air was traveling through. This one is like completely clogged up, sealed. So I can definitely see why it was misfiring, and this definitely would have been much, much worse. The back 2 cylinders here, they're oily. Again, it looks like they may have been done before. But it's hard to tell because it's kind of inconsistent with how the carbon buildup has come onto the cylinders. So we're gonna go ahead and clean all this stuff now, and then I'll show you guys the finished result too.
Many hours later.
All right, we've got our intake valves cleaned and they're looking super fresh now. Each of the cylinders is completely rid of that carbon buildup. There is just a little bit residue left, but that's because it's just so caked on. And if I had like a walnut blaster, I'm sure I could get it super polished. But I had to go ahead and use a pick to get all that carbon off. That's how stuck it was. That's how dried up it was on the intake valves. And now they're much better looking. So just using this pick to get off all the carbon, some brake cleaner, some of that fuel injector cleaner, and we've got clean intake valves ready to go, ready to boost up. Now, one thing that I've been thinking about this entire time would be if we had methanol injection coming from like the charge pipe before the throttle body, I wonder how effective it would be at cleaning each of those intake valves and keeping them from getting carbon buildup. I wonder if that would make a difference. I know having like port injection, that would probably keep them cleaner, but of course port injection doesn't run all the time, and neither does meth injection, honestly. So just something I've been thinking about. It would be cool to do on the wagon, although that would mean running some extra, tuning services and stuff like that. So just might be a little bit much to get into right now. We just need to focus on getting the motor in and running. So now that all that is cleaned, I do have to do a little bit of cleaning here on the engine block. I think I'm going to grab some of that engine degreaser and pressure wash it with the intake runners covered up, as well as like the vacuum hose right here. But yeah, now let's go ahead and see if we can pull the crank pulley off and see how bad that leak is in the front of the motor. Oh yeah, baby. All right, so looking closely at it, you can see there's this buildup of grime and grease, and it gets a little bit lighter colored right here. And then you can also see that we have a wet spot at the bottom of the crank seal, and it's actually less glossy than the dry parts up here. So that wet spot plus the constant flow right here is basically what keeps the area right closest to the leak clean. But then in the surrounding areas, you get buildup of dirt from the road and stuff like that just clings to the motor, and you get that black sludge built up all around here, all because of that crank seal. So I did order one of these along with a ton of other gaskets, obviously, so we'll be replacing this, and we're not going to use the special tool, so stay tuned to see us either pass or fail on installing this without any special equipment. But anyways, yeah, we know that that's an issue. We've got that on order, and we'll get that fixed. Also, if we take a look at this belt system right here, because I removed the belt earlier, I was testing out the pulleys, and one of these is really, really bad. Listen. So that is a very bad pulley there. The rest of them aren't making as much noise, but I don't think they've ever been replaced before. So we've got a full accessory belt kit on order from FCP Euro with the belts, with all the pulleys, idler and tensioner, all that. So that's going to get replaced. We also can see that we have some oil filter stand leaking right here. That's going to get resolved. We have gaskets coming for that as well. And a ton of other service episodes are coming up, so stay tuned for those. Now what we're going to do is cover up the intake valves and go ahead and pressure wash this side of the engine, probably the whole engine since we have the crank pulley off, try to get some of that dirt off, some of the dirt around the engine mounts as well, just try to clean everything off. So let's unpack the pressure washer and get to work. Alrighty guys, so that's going to conclude our video for today. I think I still have some carbon on my glasses here that I need to clean, but I hope you guys enjoyed watching us clean the intake valves on my N54 motor. After about 200,000 miles, it's hard to say if these have been cleaned before, but my guess, well, my hopes would be that they were done before, but probably these valves have not been cleaned for probably like 100,000 miles or more, honestly, because of how clogged up cylinder 3 was. That cylinder was probably the worst carbon built up cylinder I've ever seen before, and no doubt that was causing our car to run weird before. I can't wait to see how it runs now and after all the rest of the service that we do as well. So if you guys enjoyed this video and you are excited to see the 335i Wagon build, leave a like down below, comment what you thought about the intake valve cleaning procedure, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new and you haven't yet. As always, I hope everyone has an awesome day, and we will see you next time.